Hi, my name is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and you're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role playing games with friends. This is part of the Intercontinental group of awesome Sunday afternoon for me, evening for our friends across the pond. So we're so named because there are folks in the United States of America as well as in Europe, and we all get together on Sundays in order to play together. This is the I want to say nine sessions of Spire, The City Must Fall, a wonderful game that is way spookier than I could ever run it because I'm smart. I asked Tyler if he wanted to GM something. So now let me hand it over to you, Tyler. Take it away.
Hi there, I'm Tyler, he, him pronouns, and yes, we're playing Spire by Grant Howitt and Christopher Taylor, which is a game of revolution. We're all drow who are fighting against the evil high elves who have taken over Spire, our home and our city, and we are trying to boot them out. In the meantime, we're also trying to make the way of life for the drow who live here a little better. It is a dark sort of place, but at the same time, I think we've been having a pretty good time with it. Now, we have some safety tools on the table, which we have the X card. We also have lines and veils. Our players are all aware of those. Folks at home, you should use them. And we're hopping in with a whole bunch of things that were going on last time. We kind of discussed it. Folks at home, if you're interested in what's happened last time, you should watch the others. But we have the party currently split with two people at a theater performance that has just ended in excitement, near riot, as they have turned the audience into this screaming horde of people, throwing possessions and cheering for them, and in one case, even ripping out their hair and throwing it up there. The other group has gone in and is in a boarding house checking out those two acrobats' room, and they discovered a couple of disturbing things, including an eidolon, a demon in a heart. But let's introduce our characters. Let's go around. Let's use our character keeper, I suppose. We have returning to us. Jan, introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Hi, I'm Jan. I use he, him pronouns. I no longer have a beard. I will be playing Zordin. He is a knight, which is like the knights are not like knights in most games, but are just working for bars in the northern docks. So there's a bit of a alcoholic twist to them. Before he became a knight, he was a duelist and now I'm gonna have to quickly look that up because I don't. It's been a while. And of course now I'm having. There we go. It's the second tab now. Resplendent First Light of Dawn. Who I heard in the last episode came up. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. Next up, Alex, introduce yourself and your character.
Hi, I'm Alex. I use he, him, and I'm playing Gerald, who also uses he, him. He is the designated cell leader somehow. And he spent his durance as a spy / servant to one of the high elves. And he's trained in the ways of sneaking and shadows and masks, and is recently become has been under the eye of the masked god. And also, I think was ambushed by Rizar and forced to actually, spot subtle hints and not so subtle hints.
Awesome.
So
Thank you very much. Next up, we know him, but let's hear about his character. Rich, tell us about your character, please.
Happily, I love games where I get to talk about my character. I am playing Lajan, which is in this world a priest. Lajan of Limier, the goddess of the drow and moonlight. My character's name is Aramitz, and we'd had some conversation since last session about a surname. And after putting a bit of thought, I've decided that Aramitz's surname is Fleck, which sounds terrible. It wasn't his choice. That was the street he was found on as a foundling. So he was raised in the church as a foundling, and then went through his durance as a hunter, came back to after the durance to become Lajan. So his name is Aramitz Fleck.
Awesome. Oh, that's fantastic. Very, very cool. Next up, Jen, introduce yourself and your character, please.
Hey there, I'm Jen. I use she, her pronouns. I'm playing Fonara, the Azurite, who also uses she, her pronouns. Fonara's a wheeler and dealer. She's your good old business bastard drow. And has a pretty grateful for presence at around the Blue Docks and operates in the same area with us. I just now, this very moment, chose a randomly generated last name for her, Aubrey, which I feel is sort of a placeholder name, not for this game, but actually for her diegetically. It's kind of like having your last name be Smith or something like that.
Neat. I like it too. I think it's a pretty last name. Something just before we jump on, I realized from last time, you got to refresh. Your dealings with Hyacinth definitely were more to your benefit than to her. So if you would like, go ahead and roll a D3, and you can refresh that off of one of your stats. And last but certainly not least, Sabine, introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Sabine. I use any pronouns, and I'm going to play Vizar. Vizar's last name, which I've now decided is Shadebright. That was not his choice. That is a family name. He comes from somewhere in under Spire, some not very lovely or nice place, where most of his family still live. He has kind of lifted himself away from that a little. During his durance, he was in the library. He was trained himself, or somehow managed to come out with some sort of scholarly knowledge. And now he is an inksmith, and works at gazettes and writes schlocky novels, and also is right now a detective at the Grey Manor Agency. So yeah, he is moving upwards in the world.
Awesome. Yes, lots of irons in the fire for Bizarre.
Yeah, and also he was honest with Gerald because Aramitz told him to, and now I hear he ambushed Gerald. So yeah, well, we'll see.
Love is a battlefield. So with that in mind, let's talk a tiny bit about what we had last time and get into play. As I mentioned before, we ended in excitement, but we had also seen Gerald in the cellar beneath a mansion, and we found a drow lady inside of Ever Ice. She is slowly melting and will be free in 2 days. We had a discussion amongst our crew and had sent warning to our minister that telling about the death of Gulag and a worry that she might be in danger, to keep an eye out, and that you would all be in touch soon. We had discovered there is a performance of the minister's daughter that is going on up Spire in Amaranth, in the mansion of Zordan's old master, Resplendent. And 2 tickets were procured from poor Hyacinth Bouquet, who should not have to see such vulgarity, by Fedora. And then we had our little split off. Now, during that time, we did not know what was going on with Zordon. And we're going to find out now. Now, Zordon had, you've been kind of tasked with keeping an eye on Vizar. And Vizar wasn't happy about it, but it had gone back to their boarding house there where they were staying and had kind of basically said, if you're going to watch, you're watching out here, and closed the door on you and Thorza. And during the kind of changing of the guard, as in it was Thorza's turn to kind of keep an eye out, you were going to get a little rest. But I think we're going to go with a little idea here of, changing of the guard, you'd probably gone out to the alley maybe to relieve yourself, or we're heading down. When there is someone coming in the door of the boarding house. Now, this is very early morning, before all of our things, the day that people have already had, we're the very early morning of that. And so you kind of see coming in the door, a drow man. He is wearing very heavy armor, plate armor, has a large sword on his back. You can tell he's a drow by the skin that is showing through cracks mostly. He has a mask on, which shows a fearsome face. It is made of steel as well as his armor. And on his kind of tabard that's over the top of this armor, you can see he's one of the Solar Paladins, which is the top-end military of Spire. They answer to the council. They are dedicated to the Solar Pantheon. They are the law in the top end of that. Very rare for a drow to be a part of them. And with him, kind of flanking him as he comes in, you see 2 other kind of bulky guys in armor, also masked. As he comes in the door, you could see that there are a couple of servants running around getting ready to make breakfast, and one of them, sir, can I help you? And through his mask, he goes, I've come to speak with someone who lives here. Is there a Vizar Shadewright? Is that correct?
I have to correct you, though, Tyler. We didn't stay at my boarding house. We
Which
went
one
to the Kraken. Went to the Krakenbell.
Oh, did we?
Yes, because I didn't want Zordon to just hang around my boarding house precisely.
Then
sorry to jump in here, but
it makes no difference whatsoever.
Okay.
You're off somewhere, we're now at the Krakenbell. The only difference is there's a general grumble from the knights as he comes in, and you hear him say, I've come to speak with someone who stays here. Is Sir Zordon here?
Oh yeah, that's me. Hi.
And you could see the other knights are kind of bristling, but when you answer, you have a feeling they probably would have been willing to defend or say you weren't here, but when you answer, they kind of looking, they're puffing out chests and looking kind of mean.
I'm like, okay, whatever. Like what do you want?
I'm Captain Born the 200. Would you mind if we...
Born the 200s?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you mind if we speak a few moments?
And like you'll see like sort of really just like his eyes go down to the wrists and like, huh. Noticing the skin and going like, okay, that's Elfrin name. Okay, very well, fine. Moments? Do you mind if we do it over a drink?
I don't mind at all, Sir Zordon. And he kind of motions, and the two knights that are with him, and you could tell they're Elfir. So he's commanding Elfir.
Ooh, fancy.
As the two of them kind of take up station on either side of the door, and they're looking haughty and kind of giving stink eye to the rest of the knights as he follows you over to a table. Sir Sorden, I appreciate you taking time.
I mean, I'm honestly not, but sure, yes.
Someone comes up and puts a mug there in front of you. They don't bring one to him.
Okay. Otherwise, I would have definitely said, like, I think this one is on him.
Says I don't make my way down to the docks very often.
Why not?
My station is usually higher in Spire, but I
Seems like it.
have always appreciated the efforts the Knights put in to maintain the peace down here.
Yes. Okay.
My information tells me that you and a Vizar were present at a scene of a crime the other day.
Investigation, yeah, for the gray Hawks, Gray
Manor.
Gray Manor, and just dog business.
I have taken over that investigation. There are concerns that I have that this may... I'm not sure if you're aware, there have been quite a few murders of an unusual sort. Some sort of villain calling himself the Swan.
I mean, okay.
I believe that the scene that you and your compatriot stumbled upon was one of these murders. I was hoping that I could find out a little bit of what you may have seen.
I mean, it was mostly a bloody mess.
That's what I was told. But there was no body.
No.
When you arrived, did you see anyone perhaps moving away from the location?
When I arrived, I did not see anyone move away from the location.
Let's see.
Jordan is very happy that he can honestly say the truth about that part.
Sir Sorden.
Yes.
This
Of 200s. Would
mourn the 200.
mourn, right?
This Swan is a danger to our people. I'm trying my best to end this reign of horror that he has been putting on. I could use your help.
And there's like the look to either side of him, but with the two other people, and like, our people, like, with our people or our people.
He lowers his voice a little. Our people, their people, the people of Spire.
Oh, everyone. Okay, right. It's not always the case when our people, especially. Sorry, I interrupted.
I understand your hesitation. I have worked hard to overcome certain prejudices I believe that the Alfir do not always respect the qualities of our people, but through diligence, through showing our better natures, they will come to know our value. They will accept that we are just as devoted to Spire as they are.
I don't know. Like close to 9 years of good service did not necessarily change anyone's minds on that. So
I saw you in the arena several times, Sir Sorter. You were very impressive.
right. And then what? I'm not there anymore, right?
And now you have become one of the knights. You are given right to armor and to sword. What more could any man wish?
I mean, I can think of a few things.
I am going to the site of this murder, if murder it was. I would like for you to...
The one where with the bloody mess.
Yes. I've gone by Bizarre, and he kind of, you could see him reach into a pocket and pull out a pad. Shade right.
Mhm.
I went by where they are reported to be staying, and they were not present at the time. You don't know their location, do you?
No. I mean, if I have to roll to lie to them, it's fine. It's just...
No, you're fine. Well, perhaps I will have an opportunity to interview him at a later time.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're usually around the area. I'm sure you'll run into them.
Would you be willing to accompany me to the investigation site?
Okay.
I appreciate that.
You think there's gonna be anything left, like after, like, I mean, there wasn't anything there when we got there, and then there was some other.
Few things can hide from the light of the solar pantheon when one of their devoted shines it upon.
Awesome. Okay.
I will, of course, pay you for your time.
Oh, yeah, nope. Let's go.
Very good. And he stands up with you, and the two of you head off. It is, no one gets in the way of you with these paladins. As you head down and reach the Flying Amber, which, if we remember, it was underneath that we had the murder. You could see that the area, it's early in the morning. You could see some people are starting to bring in things to sell in the market that's underneath Flying Amber. But there has been, like, roped off where the blood spatters were. And you could see that there's a seal of the council that is on those kind of where it's been blocked off. And people have not been going by it. And there is a patrolman for the just general police that's there as the group of you come walking up. As you do, Morns looks at him and we'll take over here. You don't need to worry about returning. once I have finished investigating, this can all be cleaned. And the patrolman says, yes, sir. Of course, sir. And kind of hastily moves away. Looking down, it, a day or I think this will be the morning of the second day since it's passed. There's still the blood there, but everything, has gotten older.
Yeah.
And he,
I think Soren is sort of going like, oh, there's an awkward silence. And like, so who are the 200?
I was sent to the South to serve in the army. I was given the honor of working for the Archbishop. I fought against the Knolls of Najab. My company, well, we did not fare well. We encountered a demonologist of considerable power. He loosed upon us his abyssal minions. I watched as my fellows were driven mad, or as their bodies were corrupted. It would have happened to me as well, had it not been that the light of the sun shone upon me in that moment, and though it burned, though it blinded me, I saw that light and its purity, and it moved through me. And I slew that accursed demonologist. And I looked back upon my company, and I swore my name to remember them.
Well done.
It was a difficult time. Is this much as you found it?
Yep, pretty much. My theory is that they must have used an entry into the sewers or something like that.
He moves over to the entryway to the sewers. Many people have walked across this. We did not think to seal this off. That's a shame.
But you seal off the entirety of the sewers?
We could have sealed off the entirety of this market. Instead, people have walked across here, but maybe there is something that I can find out. If you would.
How?
So, Sorden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The shadows of doubt can be cast aside by the radiant light. And he steps up to that area, and you see him kind of lower his head. And he begins to shine with this white light, and it kind of hurts your eyes. And you could see the drow that are under here like moving away from it. And that area begins to be lit up. And against that wall, you could see that smear begin to turn back into the letters that were written there. And you could see that puddle of dried blood begin to move and shape up until you see the figure of Gulag cut open there in front of you. We're going to cut away back to Fedara and Vizar. We'll do a little time hopping around to get you sort of back up to the moment. But for now, we're going to hop to you, Fedara and Vizar. This crowd has gone just ecstatic over this performance. They're screaming. The performers, the acrobats have sort of stood, and they're taking these applause in. Some kind of stage hands have come running out to like pick up the things that were thrown for them, collecting them, probably to take them back. Fedara, what are you doing? And remember, you kind of felt this hit of emotion that came from them.
Yeah, I'm tracking down a nice tall glass of ice water and just sort of nervously sipping at it.
And what are you doing, Vizar?
Well, since Finara doesn't move to throw anything at them, I think I will scribble something on my notepad, because I'm not really influenced by this, but still I notice what is happening. And I will fold then the paper into some sort of little flyer and throw the flyer. And this is a poem on the, it's rough, yeah, but still the poem. And I try to hit, I mean, not hit one of them, but I try to get the flyer so that they will maybe notice.
All right. It sails over. Are you attempting to do something along the lines of like, is this maybe something with trust me, or?
If I can, yeah. This is, I want them to trust me, that they will think that I am an ardent admirer.
Ooh, I like that. Then why don't we? Yeah, I think we could just. I don't think you're having to roll on that one. I think that this, as it floats over, I think that the kind of uniqueness of that, you see one of them just, gracefully as can be, grab it from the air as it floats by and look down, reading it. And you can take a temporary bond with Lorelei.
Cool. Nice.
Which you can use, as a just as a normal bond on someone.
Okay.
As they read it quickly, and through the mask you can't really see their face, but they seem pleased from their body language there, and look out to catch your eye, and give a little bow and wave to you.
And I make this dumbstruck, awestruck, love-struck even face at her, like I can't believe my luck that she would look at me.
That honest face is a curse.
Is it? Oh.
And
sometimes that's what my father said.
And they make their way from the stage as the MC comes out, and oh my goodness, are we not all lucky to have seen this wonderful performance? Please calm yourselves, don't worry, you should come back tomorrow night, because Sebastian and Lorelei will be performing once again. And there's roar of the crowd. It says, and now please get the last drinks, enjoy the last food, and remember, tip your server. Thank you for coming.
And I turn to Finara and say, what do you think? Should we go backstage and talk to these people?
Ugh.
Are you okay?
Ugh. I did not enjoy the performance.
I did not enjoy the occult attack on all of us, but
Yes.
otherwise it was kind of. I mean, have you ever seen somebody fold like that?
No, it was honestly a truly expert. Clearly, these are craftsmen of a great nature, but ugh.
Yeah, I still want to talk to them. I mean,
Let's go.
You saw me throw that poem up there. I professed my undying devotion to their art.
Wouldn't I just be a third wheel?
They are, yeah, maybe they are. They can be dangerous. I wouldn't mind some backup.
All right.
Some
all right.
clear-headed backup. And if it comes to clear-headed, I know no one, Fanara, who's your equal.
Well, flattery will get me everywhere, apparently. Let's go.
As the two of you begin working around the stage toward the back, you're met actually by a stagehand who comes up to you, Vizar, and says, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
The Lady Lorelei has asked if you would care to come back and enjoy a drink. And I'm sure your companion as well.
Me, for me. She has, the Lady Lorelei has...
Say yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
There you go.
1,000 times yes.
If you'll follow me.
Yes.
And
how do I look? Fanara? Is this? Oh my God! I should have worn my better clothes.
You work your way backstage. You see some of the acts putting away their things. You see the comedians off to the side in a little circle, trying out material on each other and drinking heavily. And you're led back to a dressing room that has a star on it and Sebastian and Lorelei written on a card that's slid into a slot there. And the stagehand, knock. Mr. Sebastian, Lady Lorelei, the person you asked for is here. And he kind of looks back at you. Your name?
Dumbstruck by my admiration, sorry. Vizar Shadebright.
Vizar Shadebright and...
a Miss Alvry, Fanara Alvry.
And Miss Fanara Alvry. And you hear from inside just beautiful voice. Oh, please let them in. And the door opens and you are motioned in. You see Sebastian and Lorelei. Sebastian has stripped out of the bodysuit and is wearing just kind of a loincloth sort of thing, and he is amazingly well muscled in that lithe, acrobat sort of way.
Drool, must not drool.
He is quite handsome. And Lorelei has taken the bodysuit off and is in kind of basically it looks like a sports bra and kind of like biker pants, but it's silken set up, and she has taken off her mask, and she is absolutely beautiful as well. And again, being amazing acrobats, they are peak physical condition.
Wow. Nice.
As she comes over, Vizar, Fanara, I was very touched by your poem, Mr. Vizar.
My compliments, my Lady Lorelei. I have not seen your like. Not ever. I'm not an old man, but I've seen performances, but yours, it struck me dumb. Almost. It is hard to strike me really dumb. But
you stopped at one page after all.
True. I could have gone on, but then I wanted to make a point.
You see, like just a moment, her, smile.
Yes.
You're a writer, aren't
I
you?
am. Yes, oh my God, you have heard of my lowly work. It is merely the schlock that I produce to pay my rent. My true works I have not yet shown to
I
many.
saw your article on the reprehensible way that consolidated foodstuffs were mistreating the people down here.
Yes, that terrible business. I will play this down. I will give her the impression that I'm more interested in her and her stuff than myself, which is not true, but anyway.
You see Sebastian kind of snort a little. There's a barely hidden sort of close to contempt. He's seen other people fawn over Lorelei before. As you see him pick up a bottle and move behind a screen, he says, "I'm going to get dressed, Laura. You'll pardon me."
Oh, of course. I will. As hard as it is, I will ignore him.
He will step behind a screen. As Vizar is sort of
Love to
chatting,
watch him go.
yeah, true. He is the fine. As Vizar is sort of chatting her up, Venara, is there anything that you're doing? It does seem that at the very least, for the moment, the two of them are pretty focused on each other.
Yeah. I mean, I keep a vague eye on Vizar for safety's sake, but also here I am in this private room, and I feel nosy because I can't help it. But being that these could be quite possibly dangerous people, I tried to stick with something that can be turned conversational if I nose on it. So, it's costumery, finery, silks, if there are any hanging around in here, tools of the trades type stuff.
Okay, so you're giving the place the once over.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we roll and investigate then?
Yeah.
Let's do investigate, and
I could probably help, right?
I would think you can. You're certainly doing some distracting here.
Yeah, I am. I mean, that's why I asked her to come, so that she can have a look around when I chat this lady up here.
And I would say that this is commerce more than likely. There really isn't a, I don't think there's much better than commerce or crime if you were trying to, it doesn't sound like you're doing crime, like you're trying to sneak around to look through their shit. You're trying to get a good overview.
No, I'm not like opening every drawer until I find a bloody knife,
Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, no, I'm just like, man, what can I assume about the ins and outs of being an acrobatic performer from the stuff here?
All right. So you are dealing with them. You're doing 4 dice to start with. This will be going against Shadow because y'all are trying to be circumspect and investigate them. But you are dealing with a difficulty of 1 with them. So,
I lose a die?
You will lose a die. So
Okay.
roll with 3. And keep in mind, Vizar, you are up for potential dangers from this as well.
That's fine.
Hey, I got a 10.
Oh,
Ooh.
fantastic.
Wow. See?
Looking around, you see first, they have beautiful stuff, highest quality of the materials that all the things are coming from. Not the sort of people that would normally be down here at a theater at St. Prodidius. You also note that like there are several pictures they've put up around to make it more their own dressing room, but all of them are of the same man. There are apparently an actor, because you see like broadsheets up for different plays he's been in, by the name of, I had given it earlier, I believe, but I have to find it again. I'm so sorry. Callisto Brox. But they're nothing of their own playbills here, just him. You also note that kind of hidden about the place, as in underneath a piece of silk, are set up into, a little nook at a chair or within easy reach of just about everywhere. There are throwing knives.
Okay.
And with that information, I think we're going to cut over.
Can I do an investigate myself when I'm talking to her? Because, I mean, that's why I came here after all.
You can, or you could use your bond to just try and get stuff out of her as well.
Yeah, okay. I don't know how far this would go, but I want to figure out. I want to get her. I want to open her up to talk about the supernatural, the occult. Okay.
Well, I think that sounds like the use of that temporary bond. I think that's really what it's there for.
Yeah, that's cool. Then I'm using that just to, don't want to anything too incriminating, but just, what her, why, well, I want to have some idea where she got the whole, yay, we can do demonic magic at people stuff.
All right. So you're going to be rolling with a bond, which we don't do a ton of, which is kind of cool. So let's have us do a bond roll. So when we roll with a bond, look at it, and I'll read it off just a touch here. So you're going to roll with the bond, which you have a temporary one with, which will count as your will count as the domain for this.
Oh, okay. I see.
So you'll be rolling compel plus your bond plus your one normally.
Okay, compel plus my normal one plus my bond, and that's 3 dice. That's nice. Yeah. Okay, maybe we'll see. Let's roll that. That's an 8.
Excellent. All right. Well, you're not going to suffer any fallout, and you're basically just like trying to bring in the supernatural. How are you phrasing it? Just to give me an idea.
I think I will phrase it in terms of performances that I have seen and performances that veered into the religious, and that there's one theater piece. What is the name? Theater play. Of that was one play that they had actually used acrobats as part of an occult ritual. That's my segue into the whole thing.
And actually, I had you roll incorrectly, but
sorry,
it ended up being the same amount of dice.
Yeah.
So You wouldn't, it's not your domain. It's just you would get a die if it's something they know about, something they're able to do, and then your starter one. So you would have rolled 3 just the same, but I'm
Okay.
sorry. I should have looked that up a little closer. All right. She says, well, Sebastian and I have been working at this for a very long time. Practice, devotion to our skill, and, well, we've also been very lucky. We have patrons who have taught us how to focus our performances.
And I'm overwhelmed by her skill, and even with a great patron, that doesn't mean that anybody can do something like this. And I will, now I need to put myself out there. I will reveal that I studied at the library actually, and that I felt a little something while this was going on.
Oh, I see. Our patron is a bit of a magician, an actor.
Mm-hmm.
Our skills, he taught us to enhance our skills with the use of the magic that can be found within us all.
That is amazing. I wish I could do something like that with my writing.
Oh, well, I'm sure you're touched at times by the divine in your writing.
But there's always more that can be achieved, isn't there?
She gives a little smile. There is more that can be achieved if one is willing to sacrifice for your art.
Yes. I feel the point in the point in my career has come where I would need to sacrifice just to take it a step further.
Perhaps we could introduce you to our patron.
I would be so grateful if you did that.
He is always looking for new artists that are open to his techniques. If you would leave me your address, I will send someone
Yes.
to perhaps give you an opportunity to meet him.
Yes, I will give her my address and thank her profusely.
And so we'll cut over to the boarding house. Something pretty horrible has just happened. Aramis, how are you reacting?
I think that Aramis quickly mutters, "Limye protect us," and perhaps makes some symbols across him, similar to someone crossing themselves in our media. Are you all right?
Are we in danger? No,
Yes.
scratch that. How are we in danger?
I want to take. Are there remnants of what we've seen? Dust, anything that I could study further?
There is dust still in the box where the heart disintegrated down.
I'm not sure, but perhaps we can ascertain what has been done here. Do you think it was the heart of
Gulag.
the one we found, Gulag?
I mean, I get the feeling this is not the only heart that's been. And
True.
Is it safe to touch?
Doubt it, but that won't stop me. And I'd like to, I kind of like to bar the entry of trespassers so that we can further investigate this horror.
Okay.
So I'll mark a room as sacred to the goddess, barring the entry of trespassers. Be careful, Gerald. Please, let me make sure that we're not disturbed. Anointing the walls of this area about the size of this large room with a silver pigment that's mixed with some sacred oils. And I have to mark a D3 stress to mind, which I'll roll now. Oh, yay. Only a 1. Hooray. Oh, wow. I'm in rough shape. That is my 4th stress to mind. I shouldn't have done that. Okay. It's done.
All right. You feel this lock in, but I mean, you could also feel the stress this is putting you on.
So that kind of rubs the bridge of his nose type deal, but of course it's not going to complain.
We should work quick.
Yes.
So I suppose it seems like you're wanting to probably. Are you trying to investigate what this, or trying to investigate a skill, but are you trying to figure out what happened with this heart? You're trying to study this heart, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I think we're looking at investigate would be 1.
Awesome.
I think I can also give you. I think I could give you pursue on this.
Interesting.
Religion, of course, is the other bit. So yeah.
Are you helping me, Gerald?
And I will say you are risking mind again.
Oh, geez, this is gonna get bad. Okay, 1 for trying, 1 for each skill and domain. Help or no help? You don't have to.
I'm just trying to think of what Gerald could do. I mean, I think Gerald's still a little bit unnerved by what we saw, and
fair.
It's letting Aramis take the lead on this.
Okay.
All right, roll it up.
8.
All right, well, you took no stress. That's very good. You are still 2 over.
Yeah, this is not good.
So I'm going to have you, just before we go ahead and get into what you've learned, I'm going to have you roll your stress.
Okay.
So,
I'm not sure what that is. So what does that mean?
I'm looking in here. I'm going over it here for what it's going to be. You're going to determine whether or not you have fallout.
Okay.
So to determine this, I'm going to have, it says GM rolls, but I'm going to have you roll it. Roll a D10 and compare it to your current total of stress marked against your bind at the moment, which your total is 2 at the moment.
Okay. I rolled a 9.
Then you do not take any fallout. And, well, now you may roll a D3 to get rid of that stress.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
When I call for fallout, that lets you get rid of it if you succeed.
Nice.
I
rolled
can
a
let
3.
it build up. All right.
I gotcha.
So you remove 2. You rolled a D3 and got 3 on the
I rolled
D3?
a D3 and I got a 3, so that would be a 2.
Get rid of 3. Get rid of 3.
Whoa, wait. No, I rolled a D6. Sorry. Rolled a D6, got a 3, which
That's
is
2
effectively
then.
a 2. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
To be clear, I'm also 2 over my mind.
Let's go ahead and have you roll for Fallout as well. So roll a D10. If you get a 2 or lower, you will take Fallout.
Scary. This is great.
I got 5.
You may also roll a D3 and remove that much stress.
And 6 and 2.
All right. So remove 1. If it was a 2 on a D6, remove 1 stress. I'm going to give you the information as you're looking over, studying this thing. This was an eidolon. In other words, it was something that a demon had been put into. You saw the demon. Having been released from the eidolon, it would have done what it attacked you. You think probably had you not had that light up, it would have been more dangerous. It, having been released from the eidolon, would do its mischief that it did to you, and then will sort of burn itself out. This was probably a very minor demon. So meaning that when it ran off, it is probably already dissolved back into the abyss. In comparison to the things you're worried about, things you've seen in your visions, this is one of the building blocks of the bigger things that are being distilled. This would have been probably given to them as a gift. Maybe as a protection for them, maybe as some sort of weapon for them. But the taking of the heart, this would have not been the entirety of the energy that would have come from that sacrifice. They were given some little bit of something. More would have been taken from that sacrifice and used elsewhere. You're absolutely positive that this is not Gulag's heart. Now, that's kind of base stuff. I think with that 8, is there a question you would like in particular answered? And I can answer that.
It feels like these folks aren't the Swan, but are associated with the Swan. Is that right?
That is correct.
Cool.
That is
great.
correct. All right. With that information, I want to ask, are you planning on leaving the box of the dust here? You're going to take them with you?
I think we should leave it here, Gerald. What do you think?
I'll admit I would be glad to not have that on that person.
And there's a moment where Aramis just reaches up and puts a hand on Gerald's shoulder. It's going to be all right, brother. We'll find a place of respite soon.
Give me a moment.
Of course.
Take a deep breath, and before I leave, I kind of look over the room. Is there anything like I want to make sure like there's not any super obvious. I mean, obviously, in looking inside the box, that's we can't.
You have those code books. Do you want to take them?
Oh,
Totally up to Gerald. Right now, Aramitz is trying to replace the box.
yeah.
I mean, it's not like they're going to know someone has been here.
Yeah. Because at first Gerald is just thinking like, as long as can I make it this guy's enough, like as long as they don't look in the box, maybe they don't look in every day. And then no, those code books, we need them. And then I just like walk over to like one of the cupboards and just like actually first I take out my mask, bite into the grip that's inside, and just knock over one of the cupboards. You don't hear the sound of it hitting the ground. It's just a little world of silence in this room. And I start just to calmly go about the room and ransack it. Anything that looks like it would be of interest to somebody, I just like pocket without any kind of interest to the items themselves.
So it looks like a straight robbery.
Yeah.
And you snatch up the code books as well as some knickknacks, a bit of money, and I think it sounds like,
Take off the mask and like, now we can go.
And as you head out the window, why don't we take our break here? All right. So we're going to switch over as we see Aramitz and Gerald leaving the boarding house. Over to you, Zordon. We come back to earlier in the day. You see where Morns, this paladin, is seeing what once was there. This light shining, showing you Gulag there. And as he kind of steps forward, that light begins focusing into the area. So, Zordon, do you recognize this man? Do you know him?
No.
As it focuses in tighter, you can see him looking up at the words. No minister shall ever talk to me. You can see he's like committing it to his mind and stepping forward, and that light gets focused. It stops showing the alcove. It shows in closer and closer to the body until you see a knife enter into the light. And as though in reverse, you see the knife moving up Gulag's body, the wound sealing.
Ew.
You see Gulag's face come alive again. You can't, he's saying something, but you can't hear it. He's obviously afraid. And then you see, stepping into that light, a person in all white, moving up. They have a mask that is sort of feathered. And Lawrence goes, it was the swan.
Okay. He's got a mask on. Is he Elfair?
No, you will note here, Here, as he points out, he's pointing out where the darker skin and cracks from the mask, at his glove, his drow. He is, and you could tell he's concentrating. And the motion has slowed as this masked face gets right up onto Gulag's face. And then you see, again in reverse, pulled out, looks to be a message, a scroll that he puts, again in reverse, puts back inside of the vest of Gulag. He took something from him.
Can you like? I hate to say this, but can you like get a closer look? Can you zoom in it, Hans?
Concentrates and moves in closer, and you could tell there's perspiration running on the edges of his mask and onto his, into his neck. And you could see that on the scroll is written, let's see, because it is wrapped up, but I'm trying to think what's a good set hint. That's we have determined that he is working with the creators of the Drek. You should look into a warehouse on Ivory Row. A knoll known as Kresh.
Huh.
And then you could see it kind of tails off a little as the fold gets down. And that is all I could see. This man was bringing a message to someone, and the swan intercepted it.
Okay. Ivory Road, why all the way up there?
There are abandoned manors, there are warehouses, but a knoll would be very noticeable in general. The only knolls that are legally allowed have permits from the Alfir. And you could see that the strain is getting to him, and he kind of brings in that focus just, last bit is, the scroll has been pushed back down into the vest, and we see that the hand withdraw, and then you see where Gulag brought his own hand up as though to protect the spot. So this would have been, guy came in, pushed his arm out. This would have been that moment before. And you can see kind of at the webbing of his finger, a symbol that mourns centers in on. You've seen it before. It takes you a minute to recognize it. It's a spider web. You've seen it America's finger as well. And you hear Morn say, the ministry.
What? The what? What?
And he releases, the light dies down, the image disappears. Somehow the ministry is involved. Have you heard of them?
What? No.
You're going to need to roll deceive on that one.
I mean, it's fair. Luckily, I have that skill now. I would say.
And you have order, which is
order, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, he the cops.
Yeah. All right. So, wait. What? Oh, that's there. We are.
You do have a difficulty of 1 against this guy, so you're down to 2 dice.
Let's see. Is there anything? Yeah. No, that doesn't. My braggadocio does not apply, sadly.
And I think this is going to be going against your. It's either shadow or reputation. I think it's going to be shadow.
Well, I mean, I rolled a 5, so.
Oh, well. Okay. So with a 5, you're going to take some stress, and you failed.
Uh-huh.
So roll me a D4.
The old dice. Of course, it's 4.
Take 4 to your shadow.
Ouch.
As Morns looks at you. Sir Sorden, I believe you have heard of them. That is not surprising. All of our kind have heard whispers of the ministry.
Are the other two, like, are the 2 elf here close by now? Okay.
No, they're blocking off. It's just the 2 of you.
And then I'll just be like, it's not something that is supposed to be discussed in polite conversation, though, right?
They are misguided. I would urge you to stay away from them.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, yeah.
They want to cause trouble between the Elfir and the Drow. They want to keep us apart. That is not our future. Our future is to be part of the Alfir Empire. Equals.
Like, Sorting cannot keep the sarcasm out of it, like, and the surprise, like, really equals? Like, if you looked around, but he just goes like, equals?
Through merit, you can rise, Sir Sorting, as I have.
You have, yes. And I did pretty well for myself for some time as well.
You, in fact, enjoyed your work, did you not?
Guess, yes. Yeah. But the thing is, then then one of them snapped their fingers, and it was gone. Aren't you scared that that's gonna, like, that might happen for you? Like, it's someone, like, I mean, you've got your two friends, of course, with you, but like someone higher up just goes like, no. And then you're suddenly like dangling at the bottom of the food chain again.
I have devoted myself to the Pantheon. I cannot be thrown to the bottom of the food chain any more than they could.
So, if for some reason you wouldn't be a paladin anymore, should I put in a good word for you at the Knights?
He reaches up and he pushes his mask back up into his helmet. And you see he's smiling. You can also see there are massive burns across one side of his face.
And we have something in common.
He says, I would appreciate that, Sir Sorden. And if you would like, I could put in a good word for you higher up. Would you like to return to the arena, Sir Sorden?
There's a deep sigh. I'm like, yeah. But it's not gonna happen though.
The Archbishop uses champions. This murderer, I am very close to finding him. Help me. And you could be my champion.
How?
The same as you were before. I have every right to call a champion. Do not decide in this moment. Tomorrow night, there is a gathering at your old employers.
Okay.
I will be there because I believe answers that I am seeking are there. There will be those who do not want to answer my questions. I could use a champion to force them to.
I'm not sure if I'm welcome there.
Anyone who walks in with me need not worry about a welcome. Where the paladins walk, the light shines, and none stand before us.
Okay. Sure.
It's a sword, which is inside of his tunic. I will see you tomorrow night.
All right. See you tomorrow.
He motions towards his two friends. So Sorden has a very good idea. We should search the sewers. You hear them kind of, really, the sewers, sir? I don't know. I believe I have given an order. Open this manhole. We go below. And they bitch, but they do what he says. And as they, oh goodness, the smell, sir. As they begin walking down, he looks over at you, gives a little bit of a smile at their discomfort, and drops his mask, following them down.
Well done.
So, you have this invitation in your hands as you, I guess, head back home to think about it.
There's a lot of thinking about. Like, there's so much of the layer, so many layers of like, yeah, I'm just gonna get screwed over. But there's also just so many layers of like, oh my god, I can just rub this. Like, I can rub it in their faces. Oh,
So, I think it sounds like we're all probably coming back together, right? We've had those that saw the theater company. We've had those that have seen the boarding house. Sword, you've made it back to the Kraken Bell, and Thorza will have told you. Vizar decided he wanted to go for a walk.
and you let him?
He asked me not to follow him.
Yeah, but someone else asked you before if to do. I did actually, but I was asked by.
I'm not entirely sure that Gerald gets to tell us to follow someone when they don't want us to.
But Vizar was in. Well, like, Gerald said that Vizar was going to be in danger, though.
I believe Vizar was going to. Well, I'm absolutely positive that Vizar was actually going with Gerald. I saw him follow Gerald, so I'm sure that it was fine.
But
there was a change of plans. It's fine. I was corrected in my thinking.
Gerald says as he comes walking up.
But I.
So, Aramis, you arrive there at the Kraken Bell as we have this getting back together. And I think probably coming through the door, we also see Vizar and Fanara.
Hey, Soren, haven't missed you a bit. And I pat you on the shoulder.
There's definitely like a flinch, like. Right. So, what's okay? I have seen the swan.
Are they dead?
No, like it's a whole magic thing. Paladin conjured up an image through the blood,
And this paladin showed you out of the kindness of his heart.
you know what? Maybe.
Okay. Well, you're an attractive fellow, Soren, so.
Are we in danger, Zordon? Beyond everything else?
Well, I mean, they did go into the sewer. But, I'm sure that's been... Like, it was two Aelfir that went into the sewer. I'm sure they didn't manage to fight much while, holding their noses in.
I don't know how you did that, but the image of two Aelfir going into the sewer.
Not me.
In Derelictus. Thank you.
Mourns for 200, I think. Yes. It's an Aelfir name, but he's not. It's the paladin I was talking about.
Anyway, Vizar, I've something that may be of interest to you.
Oh, what's that?
Hand over the like they were.
Yeah.
What
I
form did the code things take? Was it code books?
Oh, code books. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like,
I might
that's what I
also
don't-
have a chance of getting close to a person who teaches demonic magic to these two performers. So
Person or, well, no, sorry, that's racist. But is it an elf or is it a kobold?
I don't think they didn't. I mean, they talked about their tutor, so I imagine it's either Elfir or Drow. So I think maybe Fonara told me about the poster she saw, right? So I assume.
I looked at Aramis and like, would we be narrowing our searches so readily to just elf, null, and human?
No, yes, that was
No.
it. That makes up defense.
Perhaps.
We had a, I don't know, something at the boarding house. I don't think those two you met are to be trusted.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. I
I don't
know you
think
loved
those-
that Jera's mumbling, but it's hard to
Yeah.
understand.
I don't think that those two that you talked to, Vizar, are safe.
Here, here.
And I didn't get the last word. Sorry.
I
Those two
don't-
I talked.
They're not to be trusted, maybe.
No, I don't. I don't think they're. Not trusting them. But I put it out there. Look, they use stuff that requires sacrifice to enhance their art, and I put it out there that I, as a writer, am an artist myself, and that I'm maybe a little stuck in my routine and might need a little something, right? And they offer to introduce me to their tutor. So
Did you get the name?
Funara saw a poster, I think, of an older actor who might be the man in question.
They probably I know Jen's not here, but I think we'll hear the name Callisto Brax, which may pop into the two of your mind as well, Geraldine Aarons. Since y'all saw the poster as well.
Mhm.
We saw
Yes.
that poster. Yes,
So might be him.
it might be.
Okay. And where is that trail leading you?
It is not leading me anywhere, but they will send someone to my place with a
They-
message.
This time I feel no.
Gerald, I don't understand what you're trying to say.
I didn't say a thing yet. I was
You think
fighting
I
my
should-
own hand
Very good.
at your decision making.
I know it's dangerous, but I mean, this might actually lead us to the Swan. And I realize, and for this moment, he thinks that I want to be his, I don't know, acolyte. He has no reason to suspect.
Yes, like you say, this may lead you to the Swan, or
Oh,
the other way around, lead the Swan to you.
yeah,
He's got a point.
he has got. But look, we can't operate if we never take a risk. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. If we didn't want to take risks, we would stay safe and do our chores and be nice and say yes, Elfir, no, Elfir.
But taking risks is safer if you're wearing armor. The same.
Yes, I know, but my armor my dear Sordin. My armor is, in this case, my tongue and my ability to convince people that I am really, really excited to sacrifice something for my art to get better because I'm stuck. My best work I haven't written yet, but no, maybe I have, but how do you know, right?
I think Sordin's gonna go like, wait, you're stuck?
Well, I write a lot, but I think there is a bit of a glass ceiling because I'm a derelictus draw. And also, I don't know. Maybe I could do better. And I could write something more meaningful.
Being stuck is a common predicament among artists.
Right. So
I
I
agree
don't
with
think
Vizar.
I've never known Vizar to have these problems, but it's a believable story.
Oh, okay. It's a pretend stuck.
Yes, sorry, and of course it's a pretense. There is enough, a little kernel of truth in there, yes, because what I've published so far is not something that will last for ages, which is every artist's kind of ambition. But that is not something that I usually, me, Bizarre, I would not sacrifice another person for that, okay? Also, I'm young, I have time to do that. And also maybe I have some motivation that will actually set free some stuff. And I look to Gerald, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, no, I'm pretend stuck.
Right. Okay.
Well, I'm glad to hear it.
Aramis, this conversation sort of going on, I think you've probably, it's been playing on your mind. I mean, seeing the demonic influence has made an impression, I'm sure.
Yes.
And, you know, with this introspection, this kind of wave of conversation has just kind of been going over you a moment there.
Mm-hmm.
When you feel something rubbing against your legs.
Look down.
There's a cat. It sort of looks up at you as it rubs against your shin. It only has one eye, but it's focused on you very clearly as it rubs up next to you. And you see that it doesn't have a collar so much as a ribbon that is wrapped around its neck. And attached to the ribbon, you see there's a slip of paper.
I'll reach down and pet the cat, and
It'll nose your hand.
there's some kind of food on the table. I'll grab off a hunk of it, feed the cat, and then try to retrieve that strip of paper gently, not yanking it away.
It pulls free as the cat nibbles the tidbit you've given it. Kind of gives a little meow at you as it rubs its head. Conversation with everyone else kind of still going on as you look at this paper. Follower of the mother, I would have words with you.
Is this, I assume, handwritten? And what do I take of the script?
It is a spidery script written in a kind of rust-colored substance that you're pretty sure is blood.
Awesome. I'll look around. There's no such thing as, well, not that I've heard of cats that are trained to deliver messages. So Baby, they're right here.
As you look around, the cat finishes the last little tidbit and kind of hits your shin again with its head, and as it rubs against you, begins walking back towards the back of the bell. Looks like back towards the door to the alley, which is open.
Friends, I've just received this note. It seems directed specifically to me. It's possible that someone may mean to do me harm.
When did you
Do
receive
you need
this?
protection?
The cat.
Cat means to do you harm? Do you need
I don't
protection?
think so. Sorry. Two
Seems
questions.
like you.
Two questions. Thank you. I appreciate that, though. I think it perhaps was only delivering this note, which seems to be addressed to me. I find this peculiar. And yes, Zordon, I would love to have your protection. But I do need to pursue this, I believe, friends.
But what is it?
It seems that the cat is going out to the alley, and
Oh, you have to follow it right now.
yes,
Okay, I'll come with you.
thank you. Thank you, Zordon.
You-
I'll return soon.
I'll take a look at these code books.
All right, you begin studying the code books. I'll have you roll on that in just a moment. Or if you want to go ahead, roll, do an investigate academics.
You can go on with that.
I am going to go on with them. You can just roll it while I'm doing it. You follow the cat out to the alley, Zordon following behind you. The cat walks down the alley a little away from the Kraken Bell, and into kind of a dead-end area full of garbage. And as you follow it, a woman steps out from behind some crates and crap that's back there. She is stooped, wrapped in layer upon layer of clothing. Her hair is white and kind of wild around her. And she is old, quite old. As she looks up and, Father, she reaches down and pets the cat. I suppose it's only fair. I have my kitty and you've brought your dog.
Zordon is a friend. He did offer to accompany me. I was unsure about the tenor of this meeting. My apologies for being overly cautious. It's been an odd day.
I'm just a poor old woman. No need to fear me. But she smiles in a way that is fucking fearsome.
Awesome. What do I owe the pleasure of meeting you, ma'am? We should exchange names. I am Aramitz.
I am Molly.
Molly, this is Zordon. What's the cat's name?
He is 3 times faster.
Then what? Oh, that's the name. Sorry.
You have been looking into something unpleasant. The Drek.
Yes. I have.
You've also been looking for the Swan, haven't you?
He's asking you, Aramitz, not me.
Thank you. I'm looking for the best way to answer this. Yes. Yes, we are also looking for the Swan.
And you have been touched by a demon recently.
Molly, you know a great deal. Are you here to impede our investigations or assist us?
Oh, I am definitely here to assist you.
Good.
She moves over a little closer to you, and this strong coppery smell hits you.
Shit.
I think Zordon sort of already gets sort of like, sort of interested, like gets a bit in the way.
You are looking at symptoms of the disease.
Yes.
I know where the disease lies.
Where does it lie, Molly?
Student of mine betrayed me. My words would mean nothing against her, nor would yours. She is powerful. She is one of them. She took my knowledge and she twisted it. Now she works the Knolls to marry the knowledge of our people with the blasphemies of theirs.
Do you know what she's talking about?
I'm still piecing it together, to be honest, but it seems that Molly had a student in some profession who betrayed her and is working with the Knolls who are creating the Drek. Who is this student of yours, Molly?
She smiles. If you take her on directly, she will destroy you. But I will tell you. She steps forward and she hands you a piece of paper. This is her name, but she is no longer where she used to live. She has hidden herself from me. She fears death and is using all of her knowledge now to live forever. If she puts the pieces together, she may do so. But in doing so, she will open herself as a conduit to the demonic, and they will encompass Spire.
I see. And why do you come to us now, Molly?
Because you're the ones who've gotten close. And I noticed you. And if I've how you dealt with a paladin of their gods, and he used the blood. You were touched by a demon that she had bound to the blood of the heart of one of our own. Whatever the blood touches, that I can know.
Okay.
Search for her. But beware. She has already bound legions to her. marshal your power. And if you need me, well, she'll reach out to touch your hand. Do you let her?
Yeah.
I think Sword initially goes like, but, and then like, oh, you want? Okay, go ahead.
I don't know if I want, but I'm going to allow her to touch me.
You
Yeah, I got it.
feel her nail kind of slide across the center of your hand and then kind of poke in. And as she pulls back, you see there's a little trail of blood. Your blood can call me.
Thank you for your assistance, Molly. We will do our very best to protect our home.
Our home. She'll cut her eyes over to you, Zordon. Don't forget that. This is our home. And as she says it, she steps back. And for a moment, it's as though everything about her turns red. Like her hair, her skin. And then she just sort of drops away. And you see rivulets of blood go down the sewer. And the cat sort of turns and meow, heads down the sewer after it.
Are you all right, Sorden?
And what was she talking about a demon?
This Drek, the drug, it seems to open people up to demons. Also, the swan seems to be trucking with demonology as well. Gerald and I had a horrific experience at the dressing room for those two acrobats. And it seems they're all tied together in one demonic plot.
You look at the paper.
I open up the paper and I look.
Joshua, Juasha, rhymes cracks beneath, or rhyme cracks beneath, RIME dash cracks dash beneath. Sorden, you know that name. That is one of the most powerful Elfir in Spire. She was on the council before she retired due to old age several years back.
Oh boy. Yeah. Is it suggesting that she's involved?
Molly seems to believe that Joshua is a maid mover and shaker.
Okay. That's a lot.
Meanwhile, back inside the Kraken Bell, I imagine discussions are going on between the 5 of you that are still there. I'm sure Goliset's there. Certainly Thorza has, even though she's keeping an eye on the way that went back. When a
No, I'm
Yes.
looking over the.
you're checking out the
Yeah.
code books,
Mhm.
what'd you roll?
I wanted to ask you before if this is conspiracy, if the knack for conspiracies
Absolutely.
will add into this. So great. So I'm rolling academia and investigate, and I have a knack, and then I
General
roll.
help?
Yeah,
Certainly.
sure. Of course,
Maybe I'm
please.
just kind of like leaning over you as you're looking at the books. Maybe there's a hand on your shoulder.
I think I'll use you as a sounding board a little, but this is
Okay.
mostly me mumbling at you, mumbling stuff at you, and you nod or say that doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense.
And I think you're risking mind at the
Oh
moment.
yeah, oh yeah, sure. I'm good at risking my mind. Okay, let's see how that goes. Yeah, there's a 10 and 3 ones.
Ooh, well, fortunately, there's a 10 there.
Yeah,
Um,
that is a pretty extreme roll.
What you begin seeing as you're putting this together and going through, like I say, these are all books of plays, but in front of each book is written like a line and or a page and a verse, and then a word associated, and you begin kind of trying to put this, and it's really rather difficult to try and put together when things were marked is really your big struggle, and it takes a few moments. But you begin to piece together, these are messages telling someone where to go to pick up things.
Oh.
And the things, there's one word that sort of becomes the key for you to be able to piece together, like when each setting is written. It's heart.
I hope we don't have to go down there.
And you can see that the newest, apparently, is to be set up for them to go. The words that end up being able to place it are Minister's Daughter performance, 2 hearts.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Great, I guess. So, yeah, I will tell that to everyone.
And that's when a runner comes into the Kraken Bell, kind of looking around, and you see them speak to one of the knights at the door, who kind of motions back towards your table. Excuse me, is there a Vizar Windshade here?
Shade right, but I'm a czar.
Ah,
so...
yes. This is for you.
Oh, thank you. Who gave this to you?
It was the Lady Lorelei.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Yeah. Yes, of course. I will give them a coin.
Thank you.
Is he old enough to drink a beer?
Everybody's old enough to drink a beer if they're brave enough.
Yeah, I'll get him a beer.
Oh, thank you.
Sure.
You open it up, and our patron is most interested in speaking with you.
Oh.
If you would like, he is happy to meet you after performance tomorrow night at the residence of
Resplendent Thingy Dawn.
Exactly. Please feel free to come with your companion if you wish. Thank you.
Cool. Okay.
And you see there are 2 invitations.
Nice. This is shaping up nicely. We can all go, I think.
So, let's bring everyone together and maybe converse here. I don't think we have time to like move to a major moment, but this is a real good time to maybe think about what's going on and maybe make a plan. And I will be listening, but I'll be off screen for a moment. If you have any questions, I'll be right back. But I have got to blow my nose. I'll be right back.
Okay.
That brings our total number of invitations up to 4.
And I think Zordon has been asked by the paladin guy, right?
Yeah, he wanted me to come along with him.
Interesting. Well, then technically we have all we need without even having to pretend that Zordon is one of our bodyguard. So
I'm technically going to be his bodyguard. Well, duelist? I don't know.
Why does he need a duelist at a play?
Is he expecting you to perform?
Possibly.
But why the question stands? What does he need a duelist for at the play?
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if it's gonna, he just wanted me to come along. I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
Do you trust him?
No.
Okay.
He's gone
Healthy
a bit.
answer.
He's gone a bit too pale-skinned.
That happens sometimes. Very well. So we'll all have our opportunity to get in. And Fizar has an invitation to meet with Lorelei and Sebastian's patron afterwards.
We should go ahead with that meeting.
And it's extremely likely that one or both of our acrobats and or their patron is the swan. Just sort of following my mood here.
Yes, I believe that seems reasonable.
Okay, but then, like, I mean, I've seen a blood representation of the swan. Of course, they were wearing a ferret mask, but I mean, assuming that they're not going to be wearing that would be pretty obvious. But I might still be able to make out general body shape.
Height and gait. Did you see them walk?
A little bit, not a lot. It was mostly focused from the perspective of the victim.
But what about this? What was her name? Aramet's. That Molly.
Molly.
No,
Molly and Joasha rhyme cracks beneath.
Rhyme cracks beneath. I love that name. That is so epic. I'm sorry.
And Gerald and Vizar, you have both heard of her in different ways. Gerald, there is no doubt you've heard of her. She was unbelievably powerful mover and shaker up until a few years ago when, due to age, she retired from active life. But her husband is still around, a massive importer, makes a ton of money. She was on the council at one point. So again, hugely powerful and said to be something of a wizard, something of a sorcerer. Vizar, you would have heard of her because she made news quite a lot. And also, at one point, she was one of the chancellors of the university.
Okay.
Her husband's an importer, which means it's not particularly difficult for her and him both together to gather up all of the things that she might need for, say,
a demonic
machinery, demonic spells.
So she doesn't want to die. Which, I mean, okay, I can, that is not a despicable motivation, but maybe not at the expense of the entire city.
I sympathize, but do not condone.
Yes, well put.
We're going to need to follow them when they leave
Who?
the play.
Now, who do we need to follow?
So many people.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
there's only 5 of us, and at least 2 of us need to be in that little tete-a-tete with Callisto.
Mm. I mean, we
So-
can follow Callisto after the tete-a-tete,
Mm-hmm.
if we still can follow them. But I imagine that would be possible. We're resourceful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be mostly stuck to the paladin because, well,
Right.
So I think the whole following thing will fall to those of us who are most competent at following people.
Looks at Aramitz.
And looks at Gerald.
That sounds like a good idea.
It seems so far we are the ones who will draw the least attention.
You are very good at not drawing too much attention if you don't want to. But I don't understand why.
Why what?
Forget it. It's not important.
Hmm.
Some people just don't see what's in front of their face. And I smile at Vizar.
Yeah, he grins back. Isn't that the truth?
Aww. Well, to circle back to the discussion at hand, it seems like the picture before us is becoming much clearer. We have someone who is probably our notably quite powerful Alfir mastermind and beneficiary. We have our chemist. We have our trunk of the distribution network. We have suspects for the Swan. We don't know how the Swan finds targets.
Do we maybe talk about this to, I don't know, Malekith? Because if we all vanish into the Amaranth district, might be nice if somebody knew at least some of what we figured out.
I still worry about a face-to-face with her, but
I'm not saying
drop
face to face, but just
I agree a drop.
mhm.
Leaving a message in the Dropbox
Yeah.
is, I think, called for.
Yeah.
I
think
agree.
I'm going to pile on just one more thing. I like having all this pile on. I love things coming to a head. So I think that this is when we see a kind of furtive-eyed young drow, young lady, though it's not easy to tell. She's kind of wrapped up, looking around, and she looks over towards you, Fanara, and has recognition and kind of slides through, heading over towards you.
Good evening.
Fanara. Greetings from Hattrell.
Ah, how is he? How he fares?
Well, he told me to tell you. Tomorrow, noon, a big drop. They should be picking up then in Perch.
Understood.
He says be careful.
Always.
and she just sort of vanishes into the crowd and is gone. Much more practical than some of the other styles of vanishing you've seen, but no less effective.
My cousin can spot talent. I can see it. Well, then, that does cinch a few things.
Gerald thinks for a moment, and those 2 days before a frozen drow lady awakens, would this fall on the day of the...
No, actually, I didn't pile us that bad. It'd be the next day.
Okay, so I have to survive that day.
Yep. You got to live one more day.
Yes. I will note that in my calendar. Survive.
So I suppose ultimately we should, as best we can, line up our goals for what we want to do with all of this information that we've collected. Yes, we need to get a drop to Mariketh. Something that keeps her informed enough without giving her information that may interfere with our direct plans, but give her an idea of the situation so that she can move as need be to protect herself. And, perhaps pour a little extra dust in the river for us should we not succeed. But aside from that, we have a nearly complete map of the territory. How do we halt this Drek?
As much as I would like to go straight to the top, that seems...
unsurvivable?
Yes. That is not something that I want to open up to.
And I will add in, as far as any of you know, and this would be you, Gerald and Vasar, who have a decent idea of this, she dropped out of society about 2 years ago and flat out has not been seen since.
Yeah, that would be hard to get the head of the snake, but maybe we'll have to climb the ladder a little. Maybe this Callisto guy knows more or can get us.
If they are the swan,
Yeah, if they are the swan, that is a problem because
I'm much less hesitant to prune them from the spire.
Yes. Oh, certainly.
Yes, but still, they are using them as a step up. That would be hard because I'm an experiment. I like experiments. Okay, I'm not risk averse or anything, but I would shy away from actual demonology a little, at least. I mean, yes, I would. I look at Herman's side. Totally, that was joking. I'm totally. Demonology is out. It's not something I want to do.
Good.
We trust you with that. It's fine. It's fine.
Good. Thank you.
Now, the drop at Perch is almost certainly going to crash. Killing Crash does a great service to reducing or ending the amount of Drek flowing into Spire. If you can't make it, it isn't distributed.
Yes, but if he can make it, I assume he would have some sort of magical, or yes, I know the Gnolls, they use technology. No, that's the humans.
There's
The Gnolls are magic. The Gnolls are magicians. So
there's almost certainly apparatus. There's almost certainly apprentices or assistants who can manage a certain amount of the process, perhaps the whole thing.
What I'm saying here is that it might be hard to take him out.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Just
agreed. So there is that direct route of possibly killing him. Dangerous, difficult, and then afterwards we have a play to attend. So
That might ruin our costumes for the play.
oh, but perhaps we put on an overcoat and then our red blood-soaked clothing underneath, and it's participation
Yes.
from the audience.
Yes, that is how it worked in one of my novels, but I'm not sure it will work in reality.
And Emirates, you are, I mean, just as a thought, you encountered the least of an Eidolon. This would be the source.
We should be careful, friends. A direct confrontation with an Eidolon is more than any one of us can handle.
Very well. Then the only other option I see of utilizing the perch opportunity is gathering evidence and dropping it into the hands of a more populous and capable party.
I look towards Zordon. Your new friend?
I mean, yeah, but still, like,
Would be a particularly white feather in his cap.
yeah.
We accomplish
Or-
our goals. We don't risk our lives beyond everything else we're doing.
And if something goes wrong, then it's just his ass on the line. And because, you know, considering that some of the corners where this is going seems to be going pretty high up, I'm not 100% sure he'll be able to. Like, I'm sure he thinks he can. But, I mean,
Fair enough. If you give us your honest assessment of what you think he'd be capable of doing if he knew the location of the warehouse, Kresh, his role, his connections. What do you think he would do?
Crash is no problem. It's the question is where it goes further up from there is where I'm not sure if he is even aware of his limits, because he's very much thinking that he's got it made.
Paling of the mind, yes.
Mm-hmm.
You're worried about him, aren't you, Zor?
Yeah.
Look, but if he gets Crash, that would be a huge service to everybody, right? And maybe he wouldn't look further. Maybe he thinks, okay, this is a null and lower Spire problem.
Yeah, hopefully. And then it's cat in the bag. Get it, Hermes? Because of never mind.
That was clever, Sorden. Good.
I agree with Zordon. We should try and keep this tool around for another time. It would be a waste to send him further up the tower and
But
possibly throw him away.
Yeah, but we're not sending him further up the tower. We're sending him to take down Crash, which is something we cannot do on our own, and which should be done. Or am I wrong in this?
If we can just focus his sight on that, and no further.
Uh-huh. But that's the thing. I'm not sure if he lacks focus.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well, he is after the swan, and he does seem very talented at that sort of work.
Another potential asset, I hesitate to call him an ally. Father Callus. We know next to nothing about him, but he brags about being able to find sin.
Huh.
Yes,
a rat
but
can find sin.
yeah.
Still.
Well, if he wants to work for Gazette, I have a use for him. But how would that help us with Crash?
Just
There's nothing
wanted
more
to circle back.
sinful than demonology.
Yeah, demonology is rather sinful.
Fair point. But can he counter demonology?
No earthly idea. No idea at all.
Okay, we're reaching the end of our time,
Yeah.
so I'm going to have us. I want to do a couple of things, and then
I also want to do a thing before we're done, because
Absolutely.
we've got a lot of stress, and so I would very much
absolutely.
like to recommend that rite of respite.
Nice. Yes, good. So first, it sounds like we are going to do a drop to McAuliffe. McAuliffe. I don't know. Oh, God, I'm throwing her name wrong.
Makarith.
That's for certain we're doing, correct? I'm going to go ahead then and say we do a quick run over there. We give her the information y'all had discussed. You see there is something in the Dropbox waiting for you where you had left before, telling her, watch out, and this happened. It tells you, I am watching out for you, but there are much concerns amongst the ministry. You need to find the solution. I will provide cover, and I am always here if you need me. But there are those who doubt you, and those who are seeking Gulag's murderer. Be in touch with me. You leave your drop. Rich, do you want to have, do a quick figure out something about Callus? I mean, he's wandered around down here long enough. You could...
Yeah, if that's something we could knock out real quick, I would love to.
Very quick,
that.
Yes. I think that this is something that would be, he's down here amongst your people. So in the sense of very quickly in the course of time, you could have talked to a few folks who talked to him, heard a bit about him. Why don't you roll me a pursue plus religion?
Okay.
And it's going to be reputation you've got going up against as your potential threat here.
Awesome. I will do that.
And it's just because you're nosing in on this guy is why there's a reputation issue.
Would it be possible that Fenara might help me in this pursuit? Because that'd be pretty open. Like this is a thing I'm doing.
For sure.
Okay. I'm like the anti-Gerald. Very above board. Hey team, this is what we're doing.
And Fenara is certainly someone who has lots of folks she deals with.
And that last die, which was the one I added because of Fenara, was a 10.
Woo-hoo-hoo! All right. You find out because he's more than willing to talk to folks about how he is looking for sin. Don't like the sin. In fact, he is really anti-sin as a thing. And more than that, he's pissed off that he got sent down from the Morticians Guild because he was looking for sin. They must like the sin. If the sin is there and I was looking for it, you don't want me there. You got to think for sin, huh? What it ends up that you're learning, though, is he was very concerned not about the Drek, but the sulfur it came from, because he knew that meant demonology was going on. And he had uncovered amongst the Morticians that not only were they doing the undying, which we've heard about, that is letting an Elfir live forever. There's a lot of problems with that, however. They stop feeling even whatever Elfir feel. They become undead. But this demonology that's going around now, this sulfur, the Morticians Guild has been told to not look into it by someone
I was about to say, by whom?
someone very high up, someone who'd been a patron of theirs, someone who'd worked at the university and provided them with the moonlight they needed to do the undying.
Oh my goodness.
And when he found out about it, he threw a fit. They decided he needed to be on bodyguard duty. But he took from the Morticians Guild quite a bit of moonlight. I have a light around me that will shine and destroy the sin when I find it. And I'm good at finding sin. So that's what you learn about him.
Okay. I shared that with the others.
So we're sort of going to wrap up here, I think. We don't get a crazy cliffhanger, but we get a bunch of information. When we come back next time, I think we're going to be looking at, for a chronology, for our timeline, we got that perch thing that is the earliest in the day. Stuff that could come from that. And we could discuss, we'll have time to talk of that. But that's our earliest in the day. Then we have the play. We know that Morns believes he has a lead on the Swan. He's going up there, and Zordon, you're pretty sure he plans on kicking the anthill. He's bringing you with him because he plans to kick the anthill.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We're also kind of aware that there's some good reasons to believe that the Swan is going to be up there. So we got a lot going in this next day. Gerald, have you told anybody anything about what's happening the next day?
I don't know what you're insinuating.
So you're not talking to your friends, and are you going to make any plans should you not be able to be there?
Oof. I may have written a note. I think I would have written a note in case for some. Yeah.
Excellent. Then on that, I think we'll close. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes,
that's fine.
Yes.
We don't even have to RP it out, but if we close out with me leading everybody in the respite, that would be pretty fantastic for me.
Does it sound like maybe we retire to the chapel then?
Ooh, fun. I mean, if you guys are up for it.
Yep.
A little gift, a little help from the mother, a last chance to go before the lady.
A last chance.
I have some letters to write. You go on with the lady and I'll...
You're not going?
No, why should I? I don't have any stress.
Well,
I think
And I'm-
for
Gerald is-
companionship.
And I'm not that religious.
That's very true.
I mean, I like Aramids. And if he looks at me with puppy eyes, I will go.
It's all right. If you have things to take care of, I trust that they are important things to take care of.
I have a job, 2 jobs, and rent to
do.
pay.
And so the rest of you then will go back to the chapel. You find work going on the sculpture. And it is, even in its early stages, quite beautiful. The light that's shining. She's working in silvers and blue. And as you come in, she smiles up. Father Amaret's. It is taking some shape.
It is. I can see it. Beautiful already. That, you know, everyone, we need to head to the back and have some conversation. I don't want to interrupt your work. It's important.
I hope the lady is pleased. You head to the back, and you set up the respite. Describe what this looks like.
I don't want to interrupt the main area of the cathedral where Yvette is working on her art. So I bring everyone back to the small little study with the bit of wine that's supposed to be for particular ceremonies that I've shared a nip or two with them in the past. And I bring each of them in and make sure that they are comfortable and create just a space of calm. And I pray to the mother and ask them not necessarily to participate in anything that they're not comfortable with, but just reflect on all that we have seen without any fear, without any shame, and in hopes that Vignette will guide us, that she will calm our worries and help us to find the path that is correct in such a confusing and hectic time.
And a subtle light fills the chamber. You may all restore 3 stress from mind or body. And I think that there is a comfort. Her gaze is upon you as this evening, coming through the many, many different shafts that have to get to this chapel. That silver light of the moon shines in. And I think we see you all taking this moment as we follow the light back up from shaft to shaft, higher and higher up through Spire, up past the inverted telescope at the university, and up to the very top of Spire. And the moon above, silver, as we see a sky whale cross in front of it, coming into dock. And that's where we'll stop.
Nice.
Roll credits.
Roll credits.
We won. Yay.
All right, well, gang, I hope that was cool. Want to do a quick round of stars and wishes? We actually have Alex here if he can stick around for that, and I have missed having Alex for that. So we'll let you start off. That'll give you first on stars.
Oh, yeah, Sabine got booted. Just gave us a note, and
Oh,
I assume, yeah, rebooting and we'll come back. So here
cool,
we go.
cool. All right. Alex, any stars?
Yeah. I really liked seeing Jan being back, but Zordon in general at the being. He seemed much more. He was still Zordon. Like there was still that character, but at the same time, he felt more capable. Not when he seemed like he
Slightly
I get
more
it. Yeah,
focused.
yeah, like slightly more focused together, something. When and it felt like it was when he wasn't around us, it was more that. So now I'm feeling very like he's much more capable, and it's a little bit of a mask that he wears himself. And I found that very interesting and fun. I enjoyed having a little bit more playful flirting with Vizar this session. I'm not going to steal all stars. So.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. And I guess I'll just go down from you. Rich, any stars?
It was nice to see a lot of group effort. I think the cross-cutting you did, Tyler, was really interesting to keep the pacing going. No one sat idle for too long, which is always nice. The ramping up of things is terrifying but interesting, and I was so happy that when I was mid-custom, like Father Callus, it was a whole Father Callus thing. Thank you that 10 worked out, because like I don't know if that, I think that ties back to what we're doing. It doesn't create more side stuff. I think it helped, so that was nice. But all in all, good session. It's stars all
Awesome.
around.
Thank you very, very much. Jen, any stars?
I really enjoyed the way Morn the Paladin, or Morns, sorry, behaved, and the sort of dilemma that he presents to Sorden, and kind of the party at large. Like seeing his powers in action, that was very, very cool, and also intimidating and paladin-y still. It had that flavor. It's always cool to see a paladin out in the world doing more than scoffing at people for doing bad things and swinging the sword. So I'm here for it.
Nice.
I liked the subtle menace of being in the dressing room with Sebastian and Lorelei and their hot acrobat bodies. And what else stars? I mean, creepy Blood Witch lady, that was great. And yeah, it was just really good for the session to see things continue to develop. I'm gripping the bars on the roller coaster a lot tighter by the end of this session than I was at the start, and I was gripping not carelessly at the start. so good times.
Cool. Thank you very, very much. Sadly, Sabine not quite back with us yet, so I'll hop over to you, Jan. What you got for stars?
There was just so much going on. I was like, oh my god, it's and yeah, that was really. We have multiple threads and like multitudes of threads just going sort of towards the same direction, but not quite. And like, there's and I'm having fun trying to figure out what's going where and trying to unthread all the knots.
Hello.
And I
Welcome
mean, I also had a lot of fun with just the paladin giving that little push towards like, we haven't really discussed it, but it was really pushing Sorden's buttons. Like, yeah, that sounds nice though. I'm kind of opposed to it, but it sounds nice. So yeah, thank you.
Awesome. I'm glad that worked. I'll mention it in a moment in my stars. Sabine, you sadly didn't get to hear other stars, though you were mentioned a couple of times. But what stars do you have?
Yeah, stars all around. I like this session. It was a lot of fun. I liked us coming together, everyone talking to each other. I like group scenes. Generally, I kind of like Armetz and his yeah, and this still creepy guy he has at his church. that yes, well, okay. And I like Zordon with the paladin, even though I mean, okay, it's a good thing you didn't have Vizar with you because he would have made fun of this guy constantly. And I also liked having Fonara with me when we were with Lorelei and looking around and I also I'm not sure. When I was flirting with Gerald at the end, and Jan, you made a lot of faces like, what's going on? Ha! Ha! Was that Sordin or was that just you?
That was Sordin.
Yeah, okay. Then an extra star for that to you because happily I actually looked at the screen and I actually was like, wow. And yeah, and to Gerald for flirting with Bizarre. That was nice. And to you, Tyler, for yeah, for ramping up the pace. Like, whoa, we're getting somewhere here.
Awesome, thank you. Stars all around. I love the relationship that Gerald and Vizar it's developing into. Jan, I loved your Sordin's reaction to it because you were the only one here who hadn't been a part of seeing it before. So that was fantastic. I like that there's still a tension in what's becoming a relationship between them. I think that it's going to be cool to see how that develops and where protection and independence fall and who's going to be taking care of, who's going to be worrying about the other one when and what. Because we have a big old threat still hanging over Gerald. He's all hidden. Rich, I always love Aramitz just because I think he's so sweet. But I loved your dealing with Molly. And I appreciate too with you, Jan, but it was respecting that she was weird and kind of scary. We haven't encountered a blood witch before, and I wanted her to seem impactful.
Yeah.
And I'm pleased that everybody was okay with me loading it in. I was like, we've got so many of our clues. Now's the time for me to go ahead and give us all our chances. Go ahead and put them all in because y'all had already uncovered so much. Let's have these chances for it to come to a head. And y'all grabbed a hold of it in a great way. And I appreciate, Jen, you kind of taking control of that group meeting and say, okay, we've got this. Let's, because I think that's very Fonara. You are the most practical person in that sort of how you do work. And it laid out great. And Jan, I really had fun with you and Morns. I wanted him to be a conflict. I wanted him to be a danger to the group in a way that is not any sort of danger we've seen before. Because he has a seductive message, but it is the exact opposite of everything the ministry stands for. And I wanted it to be there. I think Morn is an awesome character. I've been hanging him back because I think he's a good guy. And that is horribly dangerous. So let's get some wishes in. Jan, I think you're the one who gets to go up. No, I'm sorry. Sabine, it's you who gets to go with wishes first.
Yay, thanks, computer. No. Well, yeah, wishes. Actually, I thought I would like to be in a fight, maybe. That would be nice. Because, I haven't been in a fight yet. I have been with this word thingy, but I rolled terribly and then I got taken out, and that was kind of anticlimactic, and I want to be in a fight again. Maybe roll better. But and then if I don't, then maybe I shouldn't be in fights. So maybe I'll learn that then. Probably not.
I hear you, and I hope I'm going to deliver that here in the next in the next bits. Now, Jan, any wishes?
I wish to rewatch this episode and then go through the NPC sheets and fill it in a bit, because there's been so many names and there's so many of them that are lacking in the NPC sheets, and I'm often going like, ah. So anyone else that has some names to add?
I've given up on that at this point, and I just follow clues and synopsis, and interesting things just pop in there.
I'm so bad about adding them. I will try to go in and make sure we have at least these head ones. I have them in a book. I should be able to.
We should also be doing it. This is like, especially today, there were so many names, and I was like, oh my god, what was it again? I'm already bad with names. I was like, ah.
That's a really good wish. That's a fair wish.
I need to go back and watch this episode again, and then just go like, right, this person is this, and
I can't even spell most of those names because what? Sorry, but I can. It would really help. To say that again, but it would really help if an NPC showed up, if you could type the name into the chat, and then we can put it in the character keeper or something. But just so we see it written once.
That is a very good idea. I'll tell you, the chat bar is one of my great deficiencies as a GM. I ignore it because if I don't, I start reading what y'all say and then I get distracted and laugh. But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I should do that. And I will try and get in there and put these major characters for sure in. Thank you, Jan. Let's see. So we're going backwards from there. Jen, I believe. No, Alex. No, it is you. Jen, it's you.
Okay. Wishes. I hope we make it. What else? No, that's about it. I think we've got other reasonable wishes covered.
Wonderful. Cool. Thank you. Then let's see. Next up would be Rich. Yes.
Yeah. Well, if Sabine wants a fight, then why not a bit of romance? Well, both ends of not actual spectrum. Yeah, a bit of romance would be fun. Making sure that it doesn't violate
Did you invite Yvette
level.
to the coffee shop?
I don't remember. I don't think I have.
Not.
Well, I mean, I only got to see her for a minute, and we all were like stressed out from demonology that it kind of slipped Aramitz's mind. Maybe he slips out and says, after our respite thing, he will invite her to the coffee shop. Thank you. That's
just going to get her beat up by Thorza. Oh,
nice.
Anything? I'm sorry, I interrupted there. Any other wishes? No.
No, no others.
Awesome. And to end us out, Alex, any wishes?
I mean, we've already mentioned a fight and surviving and romance. So I want to make small talk with horrendous people at our party.
I promise you will have that opportunity.
Good wish. Strong.
I think we're learning a little bit of how I run, which is pretty wide open. I wish I was a bit better about making sure we had NPCs and stuff like that. It is a failing. I get going and I just don't add stuff in. But I hope it's enjoyable all the same. And my big wish is when this party hits, because I'm looking forward to the perch thing. I think we're going to have stuff that's cool there. We may see a fight there as well. But I'm really wanting this party to hit well and kind of really let us understand what the Alfear awfulness is. And so my big wish is for the party to really land. Well, gang, I hope that this was fun. Folks at home, I hope you're enjoying this run. We are getting towards the nitty and the gritty. So enjoy. And Rich, I'm turning it back over to you, sir.
Thanks, Tyler. Thanks, everybody, for playing. And thanks if you've been watching. I'll see you.